What's going on, guys? Gomes here, back again on another MLB The Show 20 Diamond Dynasty video. Today we are coming at you with our third edition of what is now going to be top 20 MLB The Show 20 legends that I would like to see into the brand new game. If you have missed the first two episodes, they will be up in the top right hand corner or in the description, as well as a playlist discussing all of the MLB 20 news and other topics that we have discussed. As always, let me know down below in the comment section, what legends do you want to see most in MLB 20? This series is not so realistic. It could be anybody under the sun. It could be the Wild Thing for Major League. It could be Barry Bonds. Let me know your wildest dreams down below in the comment section as well. Make sure and leave a like down below. Best way to support the channel, subscribe if you guys have not yet. I know you right there, not talking to you, you're subbed. Good. You're not subbed yet. Make sure and do so. So without further ado, let's get right into this one. So now being done with the first 10 legends down, it seems like a trend. There's always a Yankee on here, and this episode is no different. We're talking about the captain, Derek Jeter. Now this is one of the most sought after legends for probably a lot of people. It's on the top of pretty much everybody's wish list, and for good reason. Derek Jeter would be really nice to see in MLB The Show as a new legend. Now always we look at the stats, we're going to go over his best 3 years. This is assuming that signature cards are still in MLB 20 and the top cards are going to work the same on how they do the ratings. So for his best 3 years, we took 1998 to 2000, and these are the highest statisticals in each category that he did achieve. 24 home runs, 102 RBIs, 37 doubles, 9 triples, 30 stolen bases, a 349 batting average, 438 on base, and a 989 OPS. So taking that into account, as well as the splits for these 3 years, I took his batting average versus righties and lefties and his slug versus righties and lefties, and also a glance at his career averages. This is about what I would expect Derek Jeter to have in the game. Now he's gonna have 110 contact right, 120 contact left. Of course, Derek Jeter, over 3,000 hits, great, ton of contact, 75 and 95 power. I think that's fair. 24 home runs was actually the most he ever hit in a single season, but in my opinion, power isn't just home runs, it's slugging percentage, and he had a lot of other extra base hits. I would give him 100 vision. He did have some 100 strikeout seasons, so not like 120 maxed out, but still very good vision. 80 speed I think is about fair around this time. This is one of his first couple years. 80 feeling, 80 arms. So I know the whole thing about Jeter is he's not a great defender, despite what a lot of people think, and I think a lot of people are starting to realize that. If you look at his defensive ratings, his defensive metrics, he was not a great defender, but I think they would probably give him something like 80 fielding. They wouldn't give him 70. It's Jeter, you have to put some respect, so that's what I would do for Derek Jeter. If you have differences, let me know down below in the comment section. I'd be glad to hear them, especially from the Yankee fans. Moving on to our next legend, this one is going to have to come with an RIP. Pay our respects. First of all, we're talking about Doc Halladay, Roy Halladay. Of course, in 2017, if you don't know, he was involved in a plane crash and he did pass away, unfortunately. But I would love to see him at the game. I think I've heard rumblings that his family's talked about, or somebody on Twitter, there was talks about him being in MLB The Show, so I think this is kind of realistic that it could happen, and I think a lot of people would love to see Roy Halladay. Now for the stretch, I gave 2009 to 2011. 09 he was a J, 10 and 11 he was a Philly, but it's interesting to note his family says that he's not going to come into the Hall of Fame, which he will eventually get there, of course. He's not gonna be represented by a team. He's gonna have no hat in the Hall of Fame, but I chose 2009 to 2011. Technically we're gonna call him a Philly. 235 ERA, 104 whip, 239 opponent batting average, 220 strikeouts, 30 walks, 10 home runs, 250.2 innings pitched in 9 complete games. So now looking at what I would give him in the game, 120 stamina. Now he is one of those rare cases. He pitched a lot of innings, especially this is towards the end of his career with the Phillies when he was getting up there in age. 105 hit 9 I think is fair. 239 opponent batting average is like the payrows we've been talking about. 100 K9, you look at 220 Ks, you think that's a lot better than you might think, considering he has 250 innings pitched. So I think 100 K9 is fair, maybe even a little bit lower. 110 walks per 9. He had really become adept at limiting walks at this point. The 30 walk season, I believe, was in the 250 innings pitched season, which is insane. 85 home runs per 9, which doesn't really affect gameplay, and 115 pitch clutch. I don't always talk about starting pitchers because I a lot of times like to see hitters more often than not into the game as new legends, but Roy Halladay, I think we all can agree, even though I don't really like him as far as being a Philly, because Rays Phillies was after the fact, but still I would love to see Doc Halladay added in as a legend for MLB 20. If y'all did not know, I am born and raised and still do currently reside in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and there's no bigger baseball Minnesota legend than Kirby Puckett, at least in my opinion. Big part in the 85 and 91 World Series championship Minnesota Twins, big postseason player, and it's interesting to note his career was only 12 years, did get cut short due to eye problems, but still made the Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility, and I think his case is well deserved to be in the game. 1986 through 88 is what we're looking at. His highest home runs was 31, 121 RBIs, 42 doubles, 6 triples, 20 stolen bases, a 356 batting average, very good. 375 OPS. He did not walk a whole lot, so his discipline, we're not going to talk about it, but it would be quite minuscule. And then a 920 OPS. So Kirby Puckett, looking at his statistics, what I would give him: 110 contact, right about there. 125 maxed out contact versus lefties. 1 year towards in 1988, he hit basically 400, 398 against left-handers. 100 power versus right, 110 power versus left. Slug kind of varied throughout his career, but I think that is about fair numbers for him. 70 speed, he was kind of short and stocky, but he did move around quite well. 85 fielding and 90 arm is what I'm going to give him defensively. I don't know a whole lot. He was a positive defensive player around this time, so I think that is about fair for Kirby Puckett. I obviously didn't get to see him watch him live, but Kirby Puckett, a very complete player. I would love to see him. You guys know I have a definite bias for guys that can hit for contact, power, run fast, have an arm, and play the defensive position well, and no better spot than center field for Kirby Puckett. I think this would be another great legend, another Minnesota legend that would be added into MLB The Show. I bet y'all didn't expect this one. We're talking about a second starting pitcher. This one, the southpaw Sandy Koufax for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think this is another one of those highly sought after legends, because towards the end of his career, he was dominant. He was unstoppable, and especially if you look at these numbers right here. Through 1964 and 1966, he had a 1.73 ERA was his lowest, 0.85 WHIP, 179 opponent batting average, 382 strikeouts, 53 walks, 13 home runs given up, 335.2 innings pitched, and 27 complete games. Of course, this was in the time when relievers weren't used as much as they were today. You would never see somebody pitch 335 innings. That's never going to happen, but at this time pitchers did. 125 stamina. I shouldn't really have to argue that or refute that case. 120 hits per 9. That 179 OBA is very, very good. Definitely deserving of a 120 hit 9. Gonna give him 120 K9 as well. I know that K rate is a bit inflated due to how many innings he pitched, 385 and 335 innings, but still he was very good at getting swings and misses. 85 walk 9 at this time, 53 walks was his lowest, but he never really was great at limiting walks. Maybe you could even go a little bit lower, probably like 80 or 75 really. 80 home run per 9 and 125 pitch clutch. Always hard to really find a definitive metric to base that off of. I usually just kind of look at ERA and give it a good glance. Sandy Koufax would be amazing. You know, him and Roy Halladay, we already talked about Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez. Those are definitely the top 4 pitchers that I would like to see. And finally, we're talking about a pretty recent legend in my eyes that did retire in 2016, unfortunately due to health conditions. If you ever want to cry, if you ever want to get in your feels, watch Prince Fielder's retirement press conference where he basically says the doctor says he can't play anymore due to neck issues that he was having. Very, very emotional. I would love to see him. You know, MLB 16 was his last game. I do believe, or was it 17? I'm not entirely sure on that. Let me know if I am wrong about that, but I would love to see him in the game. One of the best swings that I've ever gotten to use. Through 2007 and 2009 Milwaukee days, 50 home runs, 141 RBIs, 35 doubles, 3 triples, 3 stolen bases. Don't let that big body, that big frame deceive you. He could kind of run. 299 batting average, 412 OP on base percentage, and a 1014 OPS. Into the game now, I would give him 105 contact right, 85 contact left. I think career he's hitting about 260 versus lefties, and not over 300 on his career either, I do not believe. 120 power versus right. You could maybe max that out 1 year in 2007. He had a 686 slug against righties, very, very beastly, and 90 power versus lefties. Still good to hit some bombs against left-handers. 85 vision, he did strike out, but he also did walk a lot. 45 speed and 60 fielding. I'm really only giving him 60. He was not a great defender by any means whatsoever. I guess towards his later end, when he played in Detroit and Texas, he got a little bit better, but in Milwaukee, I don't think he was all that good. But come on, let's at least give him bronze defense. So that's going to do it for this one. These are my top 5 part 3 most wanted legends for MLB The Show 20. Like I said, we're going to do one more iteration of this in about a week or so, where we're going to finish off, give 5 more legends, and it's going to equal 20 for MLB The Show 20. Once again, let me know who you guys would love to see in the new game as brand new legends. Can be as realistic or as out there as you would like. It's all fun and games. But I hope at least a couple of these 20 that I list off are added into the new MLB game. So if you guys enjoyed this one, make sure to leave a like down below. Hope you guys are great today. There goes out. Yay.
Love is love and hate is hate. To die is an awesome adventure and I can hardly wait. Earth is a prison, I need a great escape. You know I'm in my zone when I'm up in outer space. You know I'm in my zone when I'm up in outer space. You know I'm in my zone when I'm up in outer space. You know I'm in my zone. You know I'm in my zone. I took a bite of the glory.